What's up, fam? Wow, that's loud. What's up, fam? Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Have I got a lot to say today? Have I got a lot on my mind on this day, November the 13th, 2017? Got a lot to say about Alabama. Got a lot to say about Mississippi State. Got a lot to say about the continuing idea that Dan Mullen must leave Mississippi State to somehow be validated as a head coach. Got a lot to say about our fans. Got a lot to say about Ole Miss fans. It's just going to be a busy day here on More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. And we'll give it about 2 or 3 minutes to let this chat populate here, let everybody get here. I know it's a Monday morning. It's hard to get going. It's hard to get started, but up to 64 people. So that looks like a sign that we're going to have a nice crowd here today, nice audience. I expected we would. After standing toe-to-toe with Alabama. I'm not going to be somebody, hello, Willie Harris in Starkville and Columbus. I'm not going to be somebody that says I told you so, but I kind of told you so. I have a pretty good reading on what this team is and what this team can do. Chad Mass says hello from Shannon. He's feeling very encouraged, and I would agree with that. I think encouraged is a very good way to put it. I'll put it like this, and I'll say it during the show. I feel better now. Even after a loss, I feel better about the state of Mississippi State's football program than I felt going into that game. And I felt really good going into the game. Alabama was lucky to get out of there with a win. Alabama was lucky to escape Starkville. Alabama knows they were in a dogfight. They were in a war. But you guys need to listen to me because you need to pay attention to what the teams look like. There was nothing ever in either resume that said Alabama was going to blow State out. Nothing that either team had done suggested that. So it happened the way I thought it would happen. I figured we would need to get lucky to win that game. We didn't get a bit of luck, but we stood in there toe-to-toe, and it was – moral victories are terrible, and nobody wants a moral victory. But the bottom line is the image of State nationally, the image of State regionally, the image of State in my mind as a fan was enhanced even in a loss. So that's a net positive for the program. So let's give you about 2 more minutes to get in here. 162 people. I told you we'd have a good audience today. Hopefully we'll get up over that 200 mark. Keith D. Ferguson says, struggle win. Yep. Yeah. Funny Man was on the show last week. If you watched his video, I thought he gave State a lot of credit and really what Alabama fan couldn't. How could you not give Andre Shigog says you don't win games looking for luck. I'm not saying I was looking for luck. I'm saying that we were going to play Alabama dead even. We were going to play them right down the middle. And if we got a turnover or a break here or there, we were going to win that football game. Could have won it anyway. But I'm not saying that I was looking for luck. That's not what I'm saying at all. Hail State from Wichita Falls, Texas. St. Louis, Missouri is here. Chris Smith, thank you for being here. Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Judy Sims Hasbargen is here. So thank you, Judy, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here on the show. We'll have a good time. Daphne, Alabama, down there on the coast. Shutdown corner and go-to receiver, and the score would not have been close. Well, maybe. Candy Solis Williams says that atmosphere, though, it was incredible, and I'll talk about that on the show. It was incredible. Dan Mullen and Mississippi State fans have built a monster as far as in-game atmosphere. It's well run, it's well produced, it's well attended. It is a monster in big game atmosphere at Mississippi State. And I told you I went to State in Georgia earlier this year, and Georgia's crowd noise and atmosphere can't touch Mississippi State. Can't touch it. Not even close. That's not me being a homer. That's me being a realist. Olive Branch, Mississippi, hello. Seymour, Indiana is here. Gina Stedman Clarity, thank you for being here this morning. Proud of those dogs from Woodville, Mississippi. Woodville down, I'm almost certain it's in Wilkinson County. Way down there in the left bottom half of the state. Can State get up for Arkansas? I just, before I get this show started, and I think I've seen a couple of these questions, if you're going to be worried about Arkansas, you need to really reflect on yourself. I mean, because Arkansas is terrible. I mean, pathetic. State can have a letdown and win by 20. So I'm not worried about a letdown against Arkansas. Arkansas is the worst team in the league. Arkansas is pathetic. So I'm not really worried about a letdown. A letdown can happen and still win easily. Ringgold, Georgia, hello. Derek Channing Beach says it was live in Stark, Vegas. If you weren't there, you should have been. Gene Pricesock is in Niles, California. Dwayne Buton says go Big Red, and I'm not sure why he says that or what go Big Red is. Apparently this guy is a chewing gum enthusiast. This guy loves his chewing gum. So, yeah. Remember the, what's the juicy fruit? Remember that one? The taste is gonna move. Yeah, remember that one? Yeah, that was a good one. Summit, Mississippi, Batesville, Mississippi. Cameron Crawford says in the student section, almost everyone stayed through the singing of the alma mater. I've never seen that happen. Yeah, that was awesome. All right. I'm about ready. I just want to let you know Terp's not here today. We have a replacement Terp. So if I see him off my game, it's because I don't trust the guy who's in there.
State fans.
Stop doing that. I told you not to talk. I very much told you not to talk. Did I not say that? What did I say?
You did say not to talk.
Okay. That's Nate. I'll come up with Nate's nickname in a little bit. Just has to hit me. All right. So, Nate, I'm ready to go.
The More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country, coming to you on a beautiful, cloudless Monday morning here in Dunwoody, Georgia. We are coming to you from the SEC Country studios. It's a good day. It's a good day for Mississippi State. Good day for Mississippi State fans. We are also being, I guess you could say, simulcast on Facebook Live right now. I'm recording this podcast, but as we speak, we're also on Facebook Live. We have 221 people in the building right now. 221 people, State fans who have gathered to interact with me, to talk with me, to enjoy each other's company, and to share lunch, I guess. I don't know what they're doing, but they're here. Facebook Live guys, remember, I'll get back to you in just a second. As soon as we finish the podcast, I'll spend about 10 minutes with you guys. But, yeah, you can do that every morning, 10:45 Central Time. You can go to SEC Country's main Mississippi State Facebook page. Just search Mississippi State SEC Country on Facebook, and you can find us 10:45 every single morning. I did a post game after the Alabama game that did 11,000 views. So we're doing good business over there, having a good time. Now, let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to talk about Mississippi State and Alabama. I'm going to talk about what happened the other night. What happened at Davis Wade Stadium. Ultimately, for about 15 minutes after that game, I was inconsolable. I'm a Mississippi State fan. That's what I am. I do not hide that. I do not pretend to say that I'm not. I'm not a media member who says I'm not a fan. Those guys are bogus. I'm the real deal. I am a fan of Mississippi State. I'm telling you that right now. So, about 15 minutes after that game, whenever Alabama threw the touchdown for the next 20, 25 minutes, I was pretty much wrecked. I was done. I was sad. I was depressed. But I rallied, and I realized what happened Saturday night was a positive for Mississippi State's football program. I don't think there's any such thing as moral victories for fans, but I do believe a lot of you might feel the way I do. I feel better about our program after that game than I felt going into the game. And I felt really good about Mississippi State's program going in, probably better than most. I saw a top 15 team. I saw a 7-2 team that was going to give Alabama fits. I saw a team that could match up with Alabama physically. That's what I saw. That's what I thought I saw. And then Saturday night, they showed me that what I saw was correct. They showed me that Mississippi State Mississippi State stood toe-to-toe with Alabama. There was nothing fluky about this. There was nothing. Really, the biggest fluke of the game might have been that Alabama won. Alabama escaped there with a victory. State set the tone. State set the atmosphere. State pretty much called all the shots. Ran out of gas in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and lost the football game. But State handled that game, controlled that game. And you tip your hat to Alabama. You tip your hat to Mississippi State. It was a well-played game. No turnovers, not a lot of penalties. Both sides just trading blows. It was just a fantastic night of Southeastern Conference football. I would say probably the best display of SEC football this year. I can't think of another game where two teams have just gone back and forth trading body blows like that. So there are heartbreaking losses. I'm a Mississippi State fan. I'm 38 years old. I've had plenty of heartbreaking losses in my time. But then there's this that had that moment of heartbreak, but this is rare. I, again, came out of that game feeling better than I went in. I came out feeling better about who Nick Fitzgerald is as our quarterback, who Dan Mullen is as our coach, and I felt really good about both going in. What I hope this does eliminate, what I hope this gets rid of in our fan base, is the segment of our fans who go into any game, particularly the Alabama game every year, saying, woe is us, we're not supposed to beat them, they're going to beat us by 40 because they're Alabama and we're Mississippi State. Get that thought out of your head. That shouldn't exist anymore. Physically, a whole lot of talent on the field defensively for Mississippi State. A great game plan offensively for Mississippi State. Nothing going into that game said Alabama was going to blow State out, and they didn't. So get the defeatist thoughts out of your head. This isn't 1987. This isn't 1972. This isn't the Sylvester Croom years. This is a team that has been built from the ground up, that has coached at a very high level, and that can compete with the Alabamas of the world. And they just did. It was absolutely a heavyweight fight between two heavyweights. The thing that I think ultimately led to Mississippi State's loss is that we happen to be new to the heavyweight division. We happen to be new to the heavyweight division. Alabama's been there for a long time. They've been in a lot of fights. Jalen Hurts, you got to listen. I'm not ever going to root for Alabama, and I would never root for an Alabama guy, but you got to admire Jalen Hurts, just kind of staring down the situation he stared down. No pretentiousness, no anything, none of that celebrating. The guy just went out and made plays, and State put him on his butt a lot. State got to him a lot, and he kept coming back. But it was a heavyweight fight. We had him on the ropes, had him wobbling. In the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, they were out on their feet. But Alabama came back. Alabama won the football game. I want to talk about Dan Mullen for a second. To me, this game was the best coaching job of Dan Mullen's career. This game was the absolute best coaching job of Dan Mullen's career. We'll talk about the last drive in the last 5 minutes in a minute. But that game's not close if Dan Mullen ever gets away from what he did in the first 3.5 quarters. If Dan Mullen ever says, you know what, let's throw down the field 3 or 4 times. Let's really try him out there. Or if he tries this, he tries that. He stayed true to what Mississippi State does well. He stayed true to Mississippi State's strengths. Common wisdom is you have to have a great passing quarterback. You have to have these receivers to beat Alabama. Well, that's not how Mississippi State wins games. Their formula is run, and pound you and beat you to sleep. And that's what State did against Alabama. That offensive line mauled Alabama for 3 quarters. That offensive line set the tone. Aries Williams was a load running the football. Nick Fitzgerald was terrific running the football. They'd get hit after 3 yards, and they'd fight forward for 3 more. It was an aggressive running game. It was awesome to see. Taking the air out of the ball, knowing we were physical enough to hit them in the mouth, trusting our running game, trusting our offensive line. That's what I thought we should do last week. That's what Dan Mullen did, and he did it nearly to perfection. Nearly to perfection. Here's what didn't happen. Here's what didn't happen Saturday night. I figured going in, if we played to our strengths and we were able to make it a fourth quarter game, and if we got a little lucky, just one break, one bounce that went our way, we'd win the football game. We didn't get it. We didn't get it from a turnover. We didn't get it from a good call. We never got the break. Now, that being said, we still could have won the football game, and we didn't lose because we didn't get lucky. But it sure would have helped. It sure would have helped for Hurts to drop the ball one time or for a ball to go off somebody's fingertips and land in Mississippi State's because the place would have gone nuts, would have gone crazy, would have been a game changer. Didn't happen. I have a newfound respect for Nick Fitzgerald. I had plenty of respect for Nick Fitzgerald going into the game. But let's be honest. Whatever he went through physically in that game, he came off the field at the end of the third quarter after running for a touchdown, took his helmet off, and vomited. I don't know about you guys, but I usually don't vomit unless something's really wrong with me, unless something's really bothering me. Now, it could have just been nerves, could have been whatever. I don't know what made the guy physically break down. But he played a quarter after that. He played another quarter against the number one team in the country, against the best defense in the country, and was a warrior. That's what I got out of this team, out of this game. Just a bunch of warriors wearing maroon and white. None of this finesse stuff. None of this, well, if we can do this, we'll beat Alabama. No, it's put the ball down. We're going to knock the crap out of you. We're not scared of you. That's big time. That is big time. Now, the 2014 team that went to the Orange Bowl, that went to number one, they didn't go into Tuscaloosa and do that. They didn't say, put the ball down, we're going to knock the crap out of you. And they got behind the eight ball. This team did. I think there's a good chance at the end of 2017, we're going to look at it like that 2014 team. They went to number one. They did all these things, but listen, 9-3 is still out there. 10-3 with a good bowl win is still out there. It's going to be interesting. Plus, this is still the setup year. I'll get to that later. Arius Williams is the running back. No questions. All year, I've gotten questions on this Facebook Live. When's Colin Hill going to get a chance? When's Nick Gibson going to get a chance? Arius Williams pounded Alabama. He was physical. He was hard to tackle. He was everything Arius Williams has been all year. He is the number one back. All 3 touchdown drives, Arius Williams was the running back. When we changed pace, we didn't score. Think about that. We'll get to everything else. I'll talk about this not being a fluke. I'll get to Dennis Dodd's article on CBS Sports, where he talks about Dan Mullen, needing to get out of Starkville. We'll make fun of Ole Miss at the end. I don't even think I put that on the rundown, but we'll make fun of Ole Miss at the end, so get the Land Sharks ready. But that was one more thing, and then I'll get to the next topic. Nick Saban is the best coach in the country. That is not debatable. Nick Saban has the best program in the country. That is not debatable. Nick Saban might win another national championship this year. That is debatable. But here's another thing that's not debatable. Nick Saban was happy as hell to get out of Starkville, Mississippi Saturday night. He was happy to get his team out in one piece because they came in injured and then they got beat the hell up. And hey, Alabama administered a whipping too. I mean, it was physical. Both teams were feeling it Sunday morning. But Nick Saban, Alabama earned every bit of that win, and State made them earn it. Kudos to both teams. I was thoroughly entertained, and even if I were not a State Alabama fan, I would have really appreciated watching that football game. But this was not a fluke. There was nothing fluky about Mississippi State staying on the field with Alabama. There was nothing fluky about State almost beating Alabama. There was nothing fluky about it whatsoever. These two teams belonged on the field together. Mississippi State belonged on the field with Alabama. State's running game, its offensive line, its defensive line, its linebackers stood toe-to-toe with their Alabama counterparts, trading body blows, going back and forth. If this game were still going, if 2 days later this game was still happening, it'd still be a one-score game. It'd still be close. That's how evenly matched these teams were. Turn me down a little bit. Alabama usually beats you by being more physical than you, by beating you up on the line of scrimmage, and just by wearing you out. And this time they didn't. They beat us with skill positions. They beat us with having the best wide receiver on the field and having a good quarterback. That's how they did it. It's different than their normal formula, but they couldn't beat State with the normal formula. Not this night. Dan Mullen's program has arrived. It really has. He's going to be 9-3 this season. He's going to be 10-3 this season if we win a bowl game. And at least for the next 18 months, until – how many seniors played the other night? 1? Martinez Rankin? 1? You're talking about losing one player from a team that has only lost to top 10 teams? For the next 18 months, this team, Mississippi State's going to be hell to deal with. You better pack a lunch when you play State because you're going to get beat up. You're physically going to get beat up. Real quick, I do want to talk about the end. Because on the message boards, on my Twitter, people have been saying, they got conservative at the end. It would have been great, but Dan Mullen got conservative at the end. Or, shouldn't have blitzed on 3rd and 15, whatever. Okay. There are always calls in games. It's easy to go back and say, I shouldn't have done that if it goes wrong. You never go back when something goes right. I shouldn't have done that. It's just hindsight. Dan Mullen didn't get conservative in the final drive. He didn't. He had been pounding and pounding and pounding the middle. His first play was a shovel pass into the middle, trying to trick him, trying to get him looking outside and then hitting the middle again. Didn't work. Then he threw the ball on 2nd down. There's nothing conservative about that. And then on 3rd down, he called a quarterback draw. Which, who are you going to trust? Your offensive line, Nick Fitzgerald, to get 9 yards? Or the receivers who haven't proven they can do it? I'm trusting the guy who's proven he can do it. And if Fitzgerald turns left instead of right, he might make it. I have no issue with the last drive. I just think the team ran out of gas. Alabama was bringing on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string guys, and State's front line just couldn't keep going. Nick Fitzgerald, like I said, he vomited on the sideline. The guy was out of gas. But they gave everything they had. Came up a little short, but again, I feel better right now than I did on Friday morning. And the Mississippi State fans should be credited for one thing. We have built a monster of an atmosphere. We have built a monster of an in-stadium atmosphere. I've gone to many games in this conference. Went to Georgia earlier this year. Georgia had 92,000 people. Their atmosphere, their crowd noise cannot touch Davis Wade Stadium when it's rocking like it was. The cowbells, I don't know if it's just the aesthetics of the building. I don't know what it is. But there are a few stadiums in this country that can touch what Starkville and Davis Wade Stadium, the atmosphere we had Saturday night. It's special. It is special. It's fantastic. And I'm happy about it. I mean, it just shows you that this program has a ceiling that nobody outside the program will even recognize or will acknowledge at all. So what's next? 2 more games to go. Arkansas and Ole Miss. I've seen some fans hemming and hawing, nervous about a letdown game against Arkansas, nervous about Ole Miss. Get that out of your head. Get that out of your head. Here are the 3 teams that have beaten Mississippi State. The former number 1, the current number 1, and the team that's probably going to be number 6 or 7 tomorrow night. Lost to 2 of them on the road, lost to the 3rd one by 7 in the last 30 seconds. That's what it has taken to beat Mississippi State this year. To beat this Mississippi State team, you better have talent everywhere. You better not have a weakness anywhere on the field, or State will punish you. And you need to be a top 10 team, and neither of the final opponents are. We just ran the football on Alabama. You don't think we're going to run it on the 2 worst defenses in the SEC? Ole Miss might have the worst run defense in college football. So I know their offense is rolling pretty good. But State's going to drill Arkansas. State's going to beat Ole Miss, and State's going to finish 9-3 and go to a nice sunny bowl somewhere in Florida. I don't know what more you can ask. I don't know what more you can ask from a program who's still a year away from its best team. A year away from having a senior in Nick Fitzgerald, a senior in Aris Williams, a more experienced offensive line, Jeffrey Simmons as a junior, Montez Sweat as a senior, all these guys, Chauncey Rivers joining the team, Brian Cole joining the team. You got some receiver help and recruiting out there. 2018 looks much better, and the setup season, 2017, has been pretty damn good. Boy, I'm fired up. I am fired up over there, Nate. You doing all right?
Yeah, you're bringing a lot of passion into this.
I am.
And I think that's what we need right now.
Stop talking. Sorry. I did not mean to bring you into that. But with everything good that happens, there's always this. There's always somebody out there with a laptop and a keyboard who wants to copy and paste the same story they've been writing since 2010 when he went 9-4, when Mullen went 9-4 in his second season. And then after 2012, when we started off 8-0. And then after 2014, we went to number 1 with the Orange Bowl. And now this year, we're going to be 9-3, maybe 10-3. And for 9 years, we've been hearing about how Dan Mullen needs to get out of Starkville, how Dan Mullen is going to get out of Starkville. He's going to Miami. He's going to Clemson. He's going to Maryland. He's going to Tennessee. He's going to Florida. He's going to Florida again. He's going to Texas A&M. He's going to Nebraska. Am I missing any? He's going to Virginia Tech. He's going to Syracuse. He's going to Hillman. He's going to East Mississippi Community College. He's going to South Panola High School. He's going to Rydell High. Where else? Is there anywhere else? No, I think that's pretty much the list. Dan Mullen is going everywhere that has an open position. Everywhere. There's a hair salon by my house that needs a hair cutter, and I think Dan Mullen's probably going there. Dennis Dodd of CBS wrote an article about Dan Mullen leaving. I know I'm as shocked as you are. Here's my deal with this. This was not a normal, I think Dan Mullen's going to leave Starkville column, article, analysis, whatever you want to call it. This was more than that. This was ridiculous and kind of embarrassing. This was Dennis Dodd pleading for Mullen to leave, saying, Dan Mullen, now's your time. There's going to be 4 or 5 good jobs open. If you want to matter in college football, go to one of those jobs. Hopefully, I will be able to rein this in. Hopefully, I will be calm because I'm about to launch it. I'm really angry right now. So let's hope I keep it where it needs to be. Let's keep it Christian out here, okay? Let's keep it. Put the mic down. Don't talk. Let's keep it where it needs to be. So Dennis Dodd says, Dan Mullen, if you want to matter in college football, you got to go. Dan Mullen already matters in football. Mississippi State already matters in college football. The man got within a week of being in the playoff in 2014. He can have a playoff contender in 2018. A couple of breaks go his way. He might have had a playoff contender in 2017. He has built a program to last. He has built that in Starkville, Mississippi. Has he built it out of nowhere? No. He's built it over 9 years. 9 years. Think about that. An entire decade. Save 1 year. He has built that. Have you ever stayed somewhere 9 years that you were trying to leave? Have you ever stayed somewhere 9 years that you didn't want to be at? No, you have not. I've never stayed somewhere 9 minutes I didn't want to be. I know I've said that point before, but it really, I want to reiterate it because we're going to get these articles every year. When Florida opens, when Tennessee opens, when Auburn opens, when anything opens, national writers can't get it through their head, and they, for some reason, believe that the second best coach in the SEC can't be in Starkville. He can't be at Mississippi State. Mississippi State doesn't deserve that. They're not a big enough program. Well, guess what? He is. And guess what? He kind of likes it. You know how I know he likes it? Because he's still freaking there. I caught it. He's still there. He's still there. This article is ridiculous and kind of embarrassing. I have no problem with people speculating about Mullen leaving. It's been happening for a decade. It will continue to happen until he leaves. And he will eventually leave. He'll eventually leave. He'll eventually go to another job. I don't know when. 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 1 year. I don't know. I mean, nothing lasts forever. But this idea that he's miserable in Starkville and this idea that you can't build a program in Starkville is ignoring the fact that he is happy in Starkville and he has built a damn program. Open your eyes and look. Ask Nick Saban what Dan Mullen's built. Ask Nick Saban how good Dan Mullen is. Ask Nick Saban after that game if Dan Mullen has to go somewhere else to matter in college football. Because I guarantee you Nick Saban believed he mattered Saturday night. I guarantee you 65,000 cowbells, a national television audience, videos going viral of the atmosphere. I guarantee you all of that mattered. Saying you have to go to A&M, you have to go to Tennessee to do something with your career ignores what he's built, ignores the job he's already done, ignores the possibility he's happy in Starkville. I believe Dan Mullen's going to see this thing through. I believe Dan Mullen, at least in the short term, is going to see this team through. 2018, he is loaded. He is loaded. He doesn't have to go to Florida to have a good team next year. He's already got one. And by the way, Florida comes to state and he's going to kill them. He's already got a good team for 2018. He doesn't have to leave Oktibbeha County to have a good football team, to have a good quarterback, to have a good defensive line. It's already there. It's already there. After the game, Dan Mullen went on the Mississippi State radio show and said this. I came here to build a championship program, and I'm going to bring that here. And as soon as we do that, I'm going to be looking for a second one. I believe him. It's time that national media people start believing him too. And stop writing these ridiculous copy and paste hit jobs that require no imagination, no thought, and any trained monkey could do it. It's embarrassing. Sure, it gets you hits from Tennessee, it gets you hits from Florida, but it hasn't come true in 9 years, and it's not going to start now. So Saturday night was the biggest win of Ole Miss's season when Alabama beat Mississippi State. If you were on social media, if you were on Twitter, or on Facebook, on the message boards, you saw the horde of Ole Miss fans crawl out from under their probationary rock and come out and talk mess about Mississippi State. Oh, well, you can't beat Alabama. We beat Alabama twice. Yeah, you did. Look what it got you. Look what it got you. Kudos to Ole Miss. You did beat Alabama twice. It only cost you your entire football program for the next decade. Seriously, bragging about your wins over Alabama right now to a Mississippi State fan for an Ole Miss guy, it's like standing by a wrecked car on the highway as we drive by them and screaming, we sure did drive fast that one time. Well, yeah, you did, but right now you're wrecked in the ditch and you look stupid. So let it go in one ear and out the other. State is a legit program in this country. State's an SEC championship contender next year. And Ole Miss is probably going to have to go to the Yellow Pages to find their next coach and their next recruits. Have fun with that. All right, on the podcast, I'll drop you off. We'll be done with the podcast shortly. Facebook Live, I'm coming right back to you. We'll spend 10 minutes together. But for the podcast, I'll be back tomorrow. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. That's where you play my outro, Nate. Not the long one. All right, that's enough. Sorry, stop that one. Okay, Facebook Live. Let's see what we got here. 236 people still here, Hannah. Good audience, huh? Good audience. Hannah went to Ole Miss. First time she's ever counted past 235. That was a joke. Sorry. It was in poor taste. Mullen will not leave the state to go to the Vols, let alone Florida. Hello, Earl Winter. Steve C. says, I saw Megan at the McAnally concert Friday. She looked very happy to be there. That's good. Steve C., friend of the show. Steve C. provided this cowbell. So thank you, Steve. Great friend of the show. Really appreciate him. Any play of those last two drives, Alabama should have been called for holding, which would have changed the game dramatically. Certainly, you know, I don't really think State got a raw deal from the officials the other night. Like, there were a couple, like the pass interference I could have done without. There were a couple of holdings I thought didn't get called. But I thought we were fine. I thought we got handled a decently fair shake. As decently fair as you're going to get against Alabama. And I know what you guys are going to say. Well, what about when he ran out of bounds and caught the long pass? I really think they just missed that call. And they did miss it. The guy threw his hat, and the other official said, I think he was forced out. I think they just missed it. I don't think that was an egregious. I don't think that was on purpose. I think they just honestly missed that call. And it happens. Carolyn Crane Lindley says, great pep talk this morning. Thank you. I wasn't trying to do a pep talk, but if that's what happened, if that's what came out, then good. Good. Tennessee and Florida have proven all coaches are always on the chopping block. Why would he leave? Why would he leave what he has for that? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why he would. Mullen's not going to Florida. And I don't think he's going to Tennessee. I don't know why anybody would go to Tennessee right now. It's Blockbuster Video. It's Radio Shack. It's a fine job in 1997, but it's awful now. Times have changed. They've fallen behind, and they're not getting it back. So I don't know why you would want to go to Tennessee. You know who Tennessee is today? You know who 1997 Tennessee is today? It's Clemson. Clemson took that spot. Tennessee's not getting it back. D. Curtis says the Bulldogs have nothing to be ashamed of. It was a great game. Matt Ewell says, can that play not be reviewed? I do not believe that can be reviewed. I'm almost certain it cannot be reviewed. So what else did you guys see the other night? What else did you guys see against Alabama? We can talk about that. We can talk about your favorite tailgate food. You can tell I'm getting hungry. You can talk about your favorite tailgate food. Talk about whatever you want. Saturday's game was the largest college game cable viewing audience of the season. That's a lot of exposure for State. Michael Nanny says, but we still lost. Yeah, what a statement. Just get used to say get them next year. I mean, certainly nobody wants to lose. And you can say, oh, yeah, we lost. Who cares? But State made a statement. I don't really care. If you want to be negative, be negative. That's fine. I understand that. You do what you do you. But I'm going to do me. And I saw a hell of a team play Saturday night. A team that I'm rolling with for the foreseeable future. Saw A-Train dragging Bama defenders in the end zone twice. Yes. I've been telling y'all Ayers Williams is the guy, right? Ayers Williams is the best running back on the team. And when you say, should this guy get a chance? Should that guy get a chance? Yeah, he should. As soon as Ayers Williams graduates. As soon as he graduates. Did you see the school up north trying to ban cowbells? Grace Thacker, good. Thank you for the question. I did, but I think it's just one person who's, trying a crusade. It's not going to work. You can ban cowbells. You can ban whatever you want. But as long as you don't ban footballs, Ole Miss is still going to get beat Thanksgiving night and going to get beat to sleep. Only thing, maybe banning the quarterback run or banning running the football, Ole Miss has a chance then if you can ban that. Great atmosphere, great football game, Tim Cockrell. I agree. I wasn't there. I wish I'd been there. I know some of you were. Some of you were able to see it, but I was at my home in Georgia, and it was painful, but it was also awesome. How does the Georgia and Notre Dame loss affect the SEC's chances for two teams in the playoffs? I think it kills it dead. The only scenario, I think, Alabama has to get to the title game undefeated, then Georgia has to beat them. But Alabama's not. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys this right now. Alabama's not getting to the title game undefeated. They're not getting to the title game at all. Auburn's going to wear Alabama out. Auburn is going to wear Alabama slap out. Auburn will beat Alabama. And it will be Auburn and Georgia for the SEC championship.
That's a hot take right there.
I've been saying it all year. I mean, it was great that State did what they did against Alabama, but and Alabama's still a top 5 team in this country, but Alabama's not elite. Alabama's very beatable, very vulnerable. And LSU set the blueprint. We followed the blueprint and almost pulled it off, did it better than LSU, and Auburn will do it better than us. Because Auburn has a quarterback and a receivers that can throw deep. So Auburn's going to beat them by 20 points. With around 25 seniors, the best recruiting class ever in 2018, I expecting nothing less than an SEC championship. I think that's what you said, Willie Harris. I don't know that it would happen, but I know State's going to compete for it. I know that we're going to enter 2018 with probably 3 or 4 teams who can win the SEC title. Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, Mississippi State, and maybe you throw LSU in there. Although, no, I'm not throwing LSU in there. They're still coached by Ed Orgeron, and they're going to be starting over at quarterback. I would say 4 teams are going to have a chance to win it next year, and State's going to be in that list. A bigger statement than having beaten Bama would be to finish the season with 3 more wins, prove we're mentally tough. We already know we're physically tough. Need to have the whole package for a title run in 2018. I would think we've already proven we're mentally tough as well, but I see what you're saying. Bouncing back and finishing strong would be a statement in itself. So I see what you're saying, but I would think we've already proven we're physically or mentally tough. Who do we have coming in as far as the secondary is concerned next year? Need some improvement there next season. Well, I know you got Brian Cole, who's redshirting, and then you got a couple of other players. I don't think you really have to improve all that much in the secondary. I definitely think if I had to pick a weak link in the defense, it would be the secondary, but they're still young. There's still talent there that's getting better. Brian Cole's going to help. Ferris Bell says Auburn's offensive line. What about it? You saying Auburn's offensive line isn't good enough to beat Alabama? Because it is. It is. It definitely is. Would you say Auburn's offensive line is as good as Mississippi State's offensive line? I think ours is great, but Auburn's is pretty good too. Had the one terrible game against Clemson, but they've gotten that fixed. I said last week a 1-score game at the end. Hard to beat Alabama and the refs at the same time. We got more rush yards than Bama allowed all season. Todd Edwards. Robin Swilly says our only weak link is the wide receiver position, period. I don't think that's altogether inaccurate. I think that's pretty on point. Which is amazing when you think about it. Coming into the season, we had so many questions that we had. Will we have a kicker? Will we have an offensive line? Will we have defensive backs? Will we have receiver? Most of those have been answered yes. And receiver did get hurt. Let's not pretend that our top receivers weren't out for Alabama. What's your favorite place to stop and eat between Atlanta and Starkville? That's a very good question. There's a shrimp basket in Birmingham. I'm a sucker for the shrimp basket. And I didn't know there were any inland. I thought they were all down on the coast. But I like to go to the shrimp basket in Birmingham. I forget which exit it's off of. Since Ole Miss claims LSU is their real rival, Kansas State claim Bama is their real rival. Probably not. Hey Dad predicts a win against Bama in 2018. What say you? Well, it's nice to have Brian on board finally. It's nice. He wasn't predicting that the last week. But I will forgive him for that. He's my friend. I don't know who's calling me right now, but they're going to have to wait. Who is calling me, Hannah? Is it my wife? No. Kenny Manning is here, everybody. Thank goodness. Wide receivers have stepped up a bit, although Couch has not. I believe he did drop a pass. So, Jordan Thomas's drop was huge. That would have been a big play. Ultimately, I don't know. Wide receiver has been addressed in recruiting. Hopefully that gets sorted out. Brandon Bryant redeemed himself after missing a tackle by running down the ball carrier on the next play. I thought Mark McLaurin redeemed himself as well. He had a couple of missed tackles. Then he came back with a sack, came back with a big play. I'm very pleased with the effort of the defense, even the back end. You're going to get beat every now and then. When you blitz everybody, you're going to get beat. But blitzing everybody is what made it a game. Blitzing everybody is what made Hurts nervous, what put him on the ground a lot. How did the basketball team look? Pretty good. I thought the basketball team looked all right. They looked fine. It wasn't an exhibition game, so I guess they were really putting their best foot forward. I think they won by, 28? 86-68, I believe, or 96-68, something like that. Keith D. Ferguson says, so how did your mom and grandmother react after the game? So I told you on the show Friday or Thursday that my deep, dark family secret is that my mom and grandmother are both diehard Alabama fans. And look me in the eye right now. I'm going to tell you exactly how they reacted. Here's how they reacted. What is today? Monday? The game ended Saturday night. I have not talked to either one of them, and I don't plan to for at least a week. I've got 2 missed calls from my mother, and I'm sure my grandmother will be calling shortly. I'm not talking to them. We'll talk later. We'll see you at Thanksgiving. Let me get over it. Let me deal with this emotionally. I don't know who said he's going to Florida, but Dan Mullen's not going to Florida. I don't care. I don't know. Somebody on here has said he's going to Florida. Mississippi State needs to pay Dan Mullen to make sure he stays in Starkville. I agree, and I also believe that we will. I think they've proven that they'll pay him. He's already 14th in the country, and that's unusual for a state coach. So they've proven that they will pay for a successful coach, and I don't see any reason why they would stop now. Mississippi State is blessed to have Dan as coach, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he was offered and accepted the Florida job. I'm going to tell you right now, knowing what I know behind the scenes, Dan Mullen's not going to Florida. Get that out of your head. Period. I would be shocked, bamboozled, hoodwinked, bamboozled if Dan Mullen went to Florida. It ain't happening. Sorry. That's like me going to Florida. I'm not going. I'm not going to Gainesville. It's like the strip mall of the SEC. I'm not going to Gainesville. Awful. It's like the Cracker Barrel lobby of the SEC. Why would you go there? You never eaten at Cracker Barrel, have you? Yeah. What's your favorite order at the Cracker Barrel? Hash browns? Hash browns are the best. I love hash browns. I eat hash browns anywhere. Going to Florida for a bowl game. Yes. Yes, Candy Solis Williams, thank you. That's exactly where Dan Mullen's going. He's going to Florida, going to Orlando, maybe Jacksonville to play in a bowl game. The only way he goes back to Florida is if Tebow's suited back up. Could happen. It's 12:30. You ready to play me out? You got to play my outro music, but you play it softly so I can softly. A little softer. Now, that's about it for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 10:45. Be here on Facebook Live. Turp will be back. Nate did a good job. You did fine, Nate. You did fine.
Thanks, David.
Anyway, I'm Brandon Walker. You've been watching more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast on SEC Country.